Thought is involved in every aspect of debate, the construction of an argument, the communication of that argument, and even the rebuttals or counter-arguments made against any opposing claim. However, we discovered the effectiveness of all these things are mostly determined by how well thought out or formulaic our thoughts are.
Being able to formulate your thoughts well and being able to summarize your argument in any situation is a very important and useful skill to have. It is the lasting opportunity you have to address every issue or point made by your opponent and put forth your argument one more time and clarify any point that you feel did not come across very clear. So it is good to be able to make reasonable connections that point towards a solution in your argument if you don't have one at the moment. People tend to remember the last thing you say more than the first thing you said.
When it comes to bringing change, it is important to work in large numbers. So understanding the flaws of the prison system is important because it will give you true passion for the topic you're supporting. It is very important that you spread awareness about the topic because, as I said before, there is strength in numbers. The more people on board with the same idea, the more impact is possible.
When trying to make a decision, what are influencing factors that govern your process? And as we go through this presentation, I would like for you to keep that question in mind. After our first two debates, my group realized that we all knew the facts, but we were missing the key importance of morality in our argument. So when we examined the moral principles behind defunding the police, we found some really interesting information that can add to the strengthening of our affirmative. From Dr. Lundberg's recommendation, or now Chris, we read Are Prisons Obsolete by Angela Davis, The Rawls Theory of Justice, and researched anti-utilitarianism and connected those ideas to the argument of police defunding. Then, after reevaluating our own argument with these concepts in mind, we were able to structure the affirmative and make morality our main focus, and we saw great success.
Consider the issue of slavery. A deontologist would have no hesitation in saying that slavery should be abolished because it is morally wrong for people to own other people. However, a utilitarian might be hesitant. This is because without slavery, the South would experience a huge economic crash, which would theoretically hurt more people than slavery does. We know that it was right to end slavery, but if the decision was up to a utilitarian, this might not have been the case.
When we apply our argument to the morals, the debate leans itself towards a more personal and tangible topic. Most of the time when arguing solely on facts, it was easy for our group to become detached from the reality of the argument. But by shifting the focus towards morality, it became easier to address the more vital central issues to a topic.
Next time you make a decision, it might be helpful to consider the moral implications of your decision, as well as the effects your decision might have on others, specifically its effects on the minority.
So during these debates, the three of us each came in with a pretty unique experience with the police force as an establishment, but I think we ultimately learned how to set our personal opinions aside when evaluating the pros and cons to defunding the police. While this was really difficult for me at first, I was able to momentarily abandon my personal belief that the police force needs significant reconstructing and defunding in order to examine the consequences of defunding the police.
I think we can all agree that we've all learned different styles of debate in the past 2 weeks. We found what works and what resonates with people and what doesn't. And as I said before, what is important about this idea is realizing how plans from opposing sides can actually coexist with one another and could potentially draw more benefits from a resolution and also for our society.